Hey guys, happy Easter 2023. Today's video, I'm going to try and keep the talking way down. I'm gonna smoke some brisket on the Dyna Glo. I bought this as corned beef, came with a little flavor pack, and set that aside. We're not going to use that, or I'm not going to use that. And typically the corned beef is salt brined. So I soaked this overnight in water. I changed the water several times, flipped the meat several times to extract some of that salt. In my seasoning mix, there will be no additional salt. So again, I'm going to try and keep this talking to a minimum. So this is my cut of meat. It's about 3 pounds. I expect it to take 6 to 7 hours to complete. And I'm going to drain off this water, see if there's any fat that I want to remove. This side I don't think I'm going to take much off because I like the fat cooking through it. It's a matter of opinion whether or not it makes the meat more tender or not, but I think it definitely adds flavor. So let me drain the water off and we'll be right back. So on this side there is a little bit of fat that I'm going to remove. Take off this big piece. Save that for the doggy dinner. And I want to take this off too. Trying to get just the fat. And the rest looks pretty good, so we're not going to mess with that. Now, take a paper towel and we'll kind of pat this dry. Okay, now it's time to put the seasoning in. For the seasoning, I use, and obviously you can use whatever you'd like, but for mine, and you can use a quantity that you like too, I tend to go heavy on garlic and pepper, but there's garlic, or black pepper, some crushed red pepper, not much, just a little, fennel seed, ground up fennel seed, and mustard seed. So I'm going to want to put about half on each side. Now we're going to press that in really well. The other side, actually I probably had more on this side. Now what I like to do with this is I'm going to put it back in the container that I had it soaking in all night, and I'm going to let this sit for probably half an hour before it goes on the grill to let those seasonings kind of bind to the meat. I'll set it this side down. I'm going to put the rest on top of here, which really isn't much. I'm going to go get the Dynaglo fired up, and what I want initially is about 250 degrees. It's going to go in the Dynaglo untouched. I'm going to try and maintain 250 degrees as best I can for 3 to 4 hours, or until the internal temperature is about 165 degrees. Once I achieve that, we will be back to continue with what's next, so hang in there. So we just got the Dyna Glo fired up, letting the temperature build. For this meat I'm going to use oak and the cowboy charcoal. So we're approaching 350 degrees. It's time to cut down the airflow and let this stabilize around 250. So we've been at just about 250 now for 10 or 15 minutes, so I'm going to put in the brisket and we'll be right back. Well, right back for you, but for me it'll be probably 3 hours, maybe 4. See you soon. So it's been about 2.5 hours, and we're just a tinge above 250. So I shut the air down a little bit a minute ago, and it should come down and settle back around 250-ish. Resist the urge to open the door and see what's going on in there. Resist the urge, people. So it's been just about 3 hours. I just opened the door, that's why the temperature's so low, and checked the internal temperature of the meat, and we're at 133 degrees. So we're going to let this go at 250-ish for probably another 45 minutes to an hour. I'll check it again, and then we'll move on to the next step. So we've been pretty successful with keeping it right around 250. Now it's time to check the internal temperature of the meat. So now we're wrapped up tight. We have our broth in the bottom. And boy, I hope I zoomed out enough so you could see that. But if not, that's okay. We'll see the end result for sure. And we'll see in another easily 3 hours. This is where the juices and the tenderness come into play. I did forget to mention that for the rest of the cook, we're going to try and keep the temperature around 205 to 210 degrees. So it's been an hour or so since I sealed up the meat, put a little bit more fuel on the fire, so to speak, and we're just over 200 degrees. Things are looking good. Just a quick update, we'll be back. All right, guys, we're about the end of this deal, so let's do a quick recap. 3 pounds, roughly 3 pounds of corned beef, soaked in water approximately 24 hours, flipped it a few times, changed the water a few times to get rid of the salt brine, or as much as possible. The biggest reason that we went with corned beef is that it's $3 or $4 a pound cheaper than brisket for whatever reason, and it's practically the same cut of meat. So after the soaking in the water, kind of squished it out, patted it dry with some paper towels, and then the seasoning was garlic, ground fennel seed, crushed red pepper, black pepper, onion powder, mustard powder. And of course you can season it any way that you want to your liking. Probably used 4 tablespoons of garlic, a tablespoon of fennel, half a tablespoon or a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, a tablespoon of black pepper, tablespoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon of mustard powder. So we had the Dynaglo cranked up to 250, and we were actually able to maintain that temperature pretty well using that cowboy charcoal and some oak wood. Yeah, 250 until the internal temperature was about 165. It took practically 4 hours. So after that, we reduced the heat to 205, 210 degrees. At that point, we wrapped the beef in the tinfoil pan, so to speak, added about 1/4 of an inch or so of beef broth to the bottom of the pan to aid in, the juicy factor and not letting it dry out. And that went on for about another 3.5 hours. So far, we've got 7 hours into this. Now, this is basically done. The temperature is starting to drop. I'm not going to feed the Dyna Glo any more fuel. And we're going to let this rest for 30 minutes. I'm going to make some sliced potatoes in the air fryer. A little bit of garlic and pepper. No salt. I'm not really a huge salt fan. It's not that I don't like it. It's just not really great for you. And either corn or peas. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll figure that out when I get back in the house. But yeah, this is where we're at. We're just about ready to get this off the smoker and get it plated up. So we'll be back very soon. All right, guys, here we are at the end of the corned beef brisket smoke. So this has been resting 30 to 40 minutes. And if we did it right, there should be no liquid left inside of the pan. Well, there's just a smidgen, but we're good. So now we're going to get this out, slice it, and plate it up. And I did forget to mention, nice bark, I did forget to mention that when I put it in here, I flipped it so that the fat side was up. So let's see what we've got. Boy, that looks good so far. Yeah, I think we hit a home run with this. That really, really looks good. Yeah, we've got a nice bark on the outside, a nice pink tender meat on the inside. It's not super juicy, but it's juicy enough. Letting it rest is a big part of this, and a lot of people don't get that. You don't want to take it right off the smoker or the grill and cut it up immediately, because all the juice is going to go to waste, so to speak. Letting it rest allows the juices to reabsorb into the meat. So this really came out nice. And I have to try a piece. Actually, we're going to take this little piece. Truly phenomenal. If you're making brisket, corned beef, it's not salty at all. And I'm sure that's because I did the, soak in the water overnight kind of thing. Switch of water a few times. Oh man, this is so good. I'm going to tell you that the Dynaglo Smoker, although you have to babysit it for something that takes this long, and let's see, it's 7 minutes of 7 p.m. So that's what, 11:30? So it's about 7.5 hours altogether. You can't go wrong. This really came out well. I wound up making mixed vegetables with some onion, butter, olive oil, and garlic. And the sliced fresh potatoes in the air fryer. If I would have had more time, I would have put some olive oil on those, put them in the Dutch oven, and put it on the smoker as well. If you've watched my other videos, you see the firebox has a horizontal surface on it that you can use as a cooking surface as well, but time didn't allow that today. It was so nice out. I was trying to get so much done. Yeah, this is, give me a minute and I'm going to put this in the plates and we'll see what it looks like ready to eat. Okay, so here we are. The mixed vegetables, the air fried potatoes, and the Dyna Glo corned beef brisket. It's going to be an awesome dinner. Again, guys, happy Easter 2023. Enjoy, and we'll talk soon. Take care now.